Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is another edition of the Bliss podcast. Signing in from Gibraltar / Spain La Linea. This is Purujit Dasa. I'm here alone today without Maitreya Prabhu, who is currently in London. So we're going to miss him a great deal. He is the chief podcaster. I'm just like an assistant dog-like entity. So kindly bear with me. And before it's too late, Maitreya is going to be back. In other words, we're going to be united again with Maitreya, hopefully soon, so we can again do the podcast together. So today I decided, since I'm here alone, that I would make a podcast about all the nice devotees, bliss devotees who are serving Krishna, who are dedicating their energy to serve Srila Prabhupada and Krishna consciousness movement all over Europe, hopefully all around the world soon. We're going to talk about devotees and the dedication, because sometimes we tend to overlook their qualities and their commitments and the service they're actually doing, the sacrifices they're doing. Maitreya Prabhu is undergoing some trouble in London, so we're going to talk about it soon. He is going through some austerities due to some mismanagement in terms of, not on his side, but in terms of the people that he booked his accommodation with. We're going to talk about it on the Bliss News. We're also going to have two samples, two songs played on the podcast. Since Maitreya is not here, I thought, well, maybe we can little switch up a bit. And these are the two songs from the upcoming Krishna Conscious musical. So you'll get to know what is this musical all about, tasting two samples. Also, we're going to read some Srila Prabhupada's quotes on devotees who are dedicating their lives propagating Krishna consciousness, and we're also going to talk about the Bliss News. What is going on with the Bliss? So stay tuned. And as I said before, this is the first song from the musical. It's called Krishna is God. Enjoy.
Krishna is God, and you are not. There's nothing in this world that will make you satisfied. Nothing in this world will make you satisfied. 'Cause Krishna is God, and you are not. He lives in this world, at the same time in your heart. Inside of your heart, you can feel it inside. There's nothing you can hide. He lives inside. Krishna is God, and you are not. Cloud, and his dress is yellow like a flash in the sky. His face like the sun shining all around. Beautiful garment shining on his body. eyes are casting silent glance. Peacock feather always stacking his hair. Millions of cupids cannot match his beauty as he carries a flute in his lovely hands. Would you chant with me his beautiful name? If I told you, my dear friend, you will not get anything out of it. Except his smile, and not even there, 'cause Krishna is God, and you are not. Krishna is God, and you are not. Krishna is God.
That was the Bliss Band with the song Krishna is God. Krishna is God and you are not. The message is simple and clear. So this musical will be released soon. Just stick around with the Bliss updates. There's hopefully gonna be some acting also in the musical. We don't know exactly how it's gonna work out, but the songs are being slowly recorded. So let's see. Um, okay, so now we're gonna talk about the Bliss news. Maitreya might be gone, but our jingles are not. So what's new? Um, Check out the wonderful video from Slovenia made by Makancha Prabhu and the devotees there, Bhaktin Sabina and Bhakta Nijik. I hope I pronounce it correctly, Nijik. Please forgive me if not. Um, Makancha Prabhu visited these devotees, nice devotees of Srila Prabhupada in Slovenia, and they did a little Harinam there. You can check out this video on our Facebook page, Expand the Bliss. I recently visited the page and I saw this nice video. I also wrote a comment. If you also like it, if you like these devotees, if you want to encourage them, and if you like the chanting, please write a comment if you're on Facebook. Also, we have a new article by Makancha Prabhu, his part 2 of Shikshastakam meditation. Shikshastaka is a prayer by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the last incarnation of Krishna who appeared 500 years ago in West Bengal. So Makancha Prabhu wrote some realizations on this prayer. He's publishing it in a series form, verse by verse. This is on our expandthebliss.com, our main website. If you still haven't checked it out, please do it right now. And Makancha Prabhu also wrote this nice article. The website contains many quotes by Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master. You can read all kinds of things on all kinds of topics there from Srila Prabhupada. You can also read some articles by the devotees and check out the ebook section for our publications. We publish various books on the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Also, our podcasts are regularly, hopefully regularly. I'm not sure if devotees are taking proper charge of this. If not, please, Prabhus, post it regularly. All our podcasts should be there. Um, so another thing is Paramahamsa Prabhu. He writes nice comments from Slovakia. Thank you so much, Prabhu, on the podcast. He's writing what he liked about our podcast. If you can, Prabhu, also you can post comments on YouTube where more people probably can see your comments. Just copy paste the same comment if you lack more inspiration. Also, Bhakti and Sabina, she is helping out now with the Facebook page as the editor. She's also wants to try out to help us with the research for the Bliss Cinema. You might have noticed that our channel Kick on the Face on YouTube changed its name. It's now Bliss Cinema. So we would like to publish uh, varieties of movies that are done more time consuming, more time consumingly done. Maitreya Prabhu, for example, he's finishing um, one nice video about the meaning of love, true love, love of Godhead, love of Krishna, and he just finishing that. And another upcoming movie is the invocation of Sri Upanishad. Um, these movies are basically compilations, video compilations of various movies that are put together in a nice way, flowing way. So the videos illustrate the narration, either Srila Prabhupada or written by devotees. And in this way, uh, people have the opportunity to get a little entertainment while hearing also, since internet is mainly a visual media. Of course, there's more, but everyone is staring at the screen or the cell phone. So if they have, besides the transcendental audio by Srila Prabhupada, um, if they can also watch some movies that are selected according to the content, then people become more captivated. So it's kind of like a special service that the Bliss devotees are doing. Bhakti and Sabina, she volunteered to do some research work for us. This takes uh, much of our time to research the various videos that could fit the narration. Um, so if you would like to also help out with this seva, it is open to everyone. Everyone can come and join us, and we'll give you certain descriptions of videos that we'll be interested in, and then all you need to do is get on YouTube or other media and find the movies that could match. These are usually just short clips. Let's say we want to illustrate how the soul is changing bodies from a child to youth to old age, like that. So if you find a movie, some BBC documentary or something where there's a show, the change of body is shown, and then you can just let us know it's in this movie minute. You write down the exact time, and then we include it in our movie. In this way, we have like a mishap or mixture of different movies composed in one one floating uh, mm, uh, whole, that, and then we put music on it and then the narration. So it's very nice preaching. We have already released two of these movies. Of course, Maitreya did another one, so three you can say, about Maya bodies, and now he's preparing another one. The first one was called Who's Crazy? That was done, I think, in 2007, 3 years ago. And it was very successful. Many devotees and people liked it. There's probably like 2,000 or 3,000 views. So, and it very nicely, it's when people come to the center, we can show them this movie. And it's very clear, especially this Who's Crazy movie is made according to the class Srila Prabhupada gave in New York. So all the basic concepts of Krishna consciousness explained in that class. Another movie we released was Bhaktivedanta Lives in Sound, which is a biography of Srila Prabhupada. That was also very successful, and many people liked it. Now there's more movies coming up. The only thing we need is your kind help, because since it is such a time-consuming endeavor, and many things could be done by anyone, pretty much anyone. If you watch YouTube daily, if you're on the internet daily and just wasting time, if you think you're wasting your time, if you're aware of that, then don't waste it. Help us to expand the bliss. Search out some movies, get uh, do something practical, and you're going to help us out a great deal. People will be benefited by more Krishna conscious content on the internet, and I'm sure Srila Prabhupada will also be very pleased. Srila Prabhupada said that we can utilize all these modern media, television, radio, and now certainly the internet to propagate Krishna consciousness in a grand scale. People are watching, through their cell phones and uh, the computer screens. So if they have something nice and captivating, some nice movie to watch, they will watch it. All the movies are all garbage, nonsense, mundane, that simply absorb people's minds in this temporary, ever changing material energy that they're stuck in for millions of births. But if they see a Krishna conscious movie, that it can really awaken them, and they get curious about who Srila Prabhupada is. What is this Krishna conscious philosophy? What is this movement? Is it just some sentimental chanting and dancing and some kind of a Hindu cult? Or is there some mm, a depth of philosophy? And there certainly is. Those who are intellectually oriented, those who are very intelligent, sumedasaha, those who have sufficient brain substance, they will admit, oh, this is a very profound philosophy. This is a very deep philosophy. It's not just chanting and dancing, although that is the essence of Krishna consciousness, chanting and dancing in love of God, in love of Krishna, chanting His holy name. But it is also very scientifically explained, and we have some solutions for this troubled world that are practical and easy to accomplish. All we need to is to expand the concepts. People get to know. People are brainwashed. They're conditioned by the so-called education in the slaughterhouses for the souls, the modern universities. They're conditioned by their so-called religious backgrounds that are also completely deviated from the original precepts of the great saints and spiritual masters. They brainwashed by their um, peers who are offering them intoxication. They're brainwashed by the family, by their so-called ambition of the parents. Oh, you gotta be a lawyer, you gotta be a doctor, you gotta be this and that and so on. So much pressure is there now. There's this virus, coronavirus, which will make people even more fearful and worried. So do something good. If you want to do good to people, uh, don't just give relief to their body. Give a relief to their soul by giving them Krishna consciousness. That will save all the problems altogether, and also will benefit the whole society. Krishna consciousness also advocates for self-sufficiency, how to teach people um, how to be independent, how to grow their own food, how to minimize their needs, how to minimize. People think that the more I maximize my needs, the more free I am. But the opposite is a fact. The opposite is the case. The more we increase our needs, the more we become enslaved and conditioned. So, Krishna consciousness is teaching you practically how you can minimize your needs, and not artificially, but by getting a higher taste of Krishna consciousness. This wonderful culture, this practice of Krishna consciousness gives you a higher engagement or higher ecstasy, spiritual ecstasy that is absolutely free. And if you follow these principles of Krishna consciousness, you will see how your life is changing, how you are getting um, a good character, how you're improving as an individual, how you're improving as a citizen, as a member of the society you live in, how you can benefit others. It's very simple. You simply chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and you abstain from these four sins: no illicit sex life, no gambling, no intoxication, and please kindly do not eat meat, uh, killing other living entities for the pleasure of the tongue is a great sin. Krishna has given us all the foods we need from the vegetable kingdom, no killing involved, although you might say that the killing of animals, killing plants and animals is the same. It is not the same because the plants are meant to be eaten, whereas the animals are not to be eaten by man. They're supposed to be protected. So anyway, we have a couple of podcasts on this point also. Check out the Hare Krishnas and the Vegans podcast we released with Maitreya Prabhu the other day. Anyway, I'm going a little off track here. So the Bliss Cinema channel will soon be updated with new videos. If you want to join in and help us, just like Sabina Mataji volunteered, she actually wrote that she feels very enthusiastic about this service. That's very nice, Sabina. Wonderful. Another news is that the Gibraltar here was open. The borders have been open after 4 months. We've been dying to get back on the street and distribute the holy name by chanting with Maitreya Prabhu and distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. We have some friends there. One of our most dear friends is Mrs. Jean King. She's the editor of the Inside magazine, where we also featured, I think last year, they did a nice article, thanks to Jean, on us. So we're back in the streets. Of course, Maitreya now left to London, so I'm going to be here doing the Sankirtan alone with Pralamba. And Jean Mataji also, she did a photograph of us. So if you want to see how beautiful Maitreya looked and how ugly I look, then you can see the Expand the Bliss Facebook page. There's a nice photograph she did. We're back in the streets. Thank you so much, Jean. Now, the number one news is that Maitreya made it to London. It was a little hectic at the end. Maitreya booked a ticket, the plane ticket. They booked us the plane ticket for Saturday. But on Friday night, we realized that there is no bus going to the airport. I mean, we are in La Linea, so that's quite a distance from Malaga airport. Um, so we didn't know what to do because there was no bus on Saturday. So I told Maitreya, well, you have to go today. You have to go tonight and, spend a night at the airport. That is the only way. So very quickly, we found some bus. Also, there was no direct bus to Malaga on Friday either. So somehow we managed to find a bus to San Roque. Sorry, from San Roque to Benalmadena. From Benalmadena, Maitreya took a train to Malaga, and finally he made it to the plane, and he's right now in London. What happened, however, is that the Airbnb, that's kind of like a service where you can find cheap accommodation. They they sort of neglected Maitreya, or there was some misunderstanding, mismanagement on the side of this lady who offered the place. I mean, we already paid the money, everything was booked. When Maitreya arrived, the lady said, "Sorry, the place is not available. You cannot come." So Maitreya, poor brahmachari, without any Lakshmi, nothing, hoping that he will take shelter of this place which he paid for, was left on his own devices, and he didn't have a place to stay. Imagine you come after all that flight and sleeping at the airport to London, and you have nothing, nowhere to go. So we so much feel for Maitreya Prabhu, how he has to undergo so many austerities just to make this preaching in London. Already Maya is trying to stop this. This is the nature of this material world. The more you try for Krishna, the more you try to do something for Krishna, the Maya is trying to stop it. This is her duty. She can use different people, even so called devotees, even the government, the police. Maya is using all kinds of tactics just so Krishna consciousness cannot be spread. This is her duty to test us how sincere we are, how dedicated we are, how strong is our determination. And when we pass the test, then Maya will let us do our thing for Krishna. So, of course, Maitreya is a staunch devotee. I don't think he's going to be disturbed by this. Brahmachari is meant to undergo austerities. Of course, Makanji Prabhu and I are trying to help. He, he already has some contacts. Some Makanchur's friends will uh, give him a place to stay for a couple of days. Please, if you can, drop Maitreya a message. I think he will appreciate if you want to encourage him and wish him good luck. Or if you live in London and you would like to help a devotee, shelter him at least for a day or two, then please get in touch with us. This is for a good cause. We're trying to establish a Krishna conscious center in London. That what is needed, it is needed there very much. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur sent his sannyasis to London because he wanted that Krishna consciousness is spread in big city where the materialism is very strong. This is important. Krishna consciousness is not some kind of a retreat. Devotees, of course, they like to go to retreats also. That is okay to chant there and relax. But if you really want to please Krishna, then you should do some austerity for Krishna's sake. So Maitreya is a serious devotee. He's not a um, retreat type of person, a recreational Krishna conscious person. He's going right there into the hellish London. Uh, Srila Prabhupada said that the London is considered to be hellish because it always rains there. So Maitreya is right there, risking everything, his comforts. Imagine you can't sleep for the whole night. You have to go and roam the streets, or I don't know exactly. Of course, he will give us more updates, more detailed. Uh, Maitreya Prabhu, he promised he's gonna send us some audio inputs for the podcast or something like that. We'll see what's gonna happen. So we'll know more details from him. But for now, I feel very much anxious that Maitreya is all right, and I am so much in awe and reverence that he's undergoing this austerity for Krishna, having no place to stay. So, yes, as I said before, drop him a message if you can. He will appreciate it. And please pray to Krishna that Maitreya Prabhu finds a job, finds a place so we can move our books from here, Gibraltar, and work on our branch in London. That will be a great, wonderful thing if there's a Krishna conscious center in London. Of course, there are many other temples. I know that the ISKCON institution, they have several temples, so that's okay. But we also want to have like a bliss center, so people can come to a bliss center where the focus is more on Srila Prabhupada, although there's no harm. Uh, to take shelter of other devotees, then Srila Prabhupada, this is perfectly fine. We don't uh, criticize that. Anyone can accept any bona fide spiritual master. That is up to the individual. It is everyone's. It is a question of heart, or who you take shelter of. But since Srila Prabhupada is predicted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the one who will spread this Krishna consciousness all around the world, I think we should also have a temple where Srila Prabhupada is being worshipped exclusively uh, and with the focus on his books and his mission without any adulteration or any diversion from his teachings. So please try to see the seriousness of Maitreya Rsi Prabhu's endeavor and try to assist him if you can. If you're from the London area, please get in touch with us and kindly help us. We're poor beggars, so to speak. And of course, we have support of nice devotees such as Makanchu Prabhu. But anyone who participates in this endeavor, he will also be benefited tremendously from the spiritual point of view also. So if you want to please Srila Prabhupada and please Lord Chaitanya, please kindly help us to make this branch in London a reality. So that's about it. Right now, the Bliss devotees are spread all over. I'm here in Spain, Gibraltar. Maitreya Rsi Prabhu is in London. Paramahamsa Prabhu is in Slovakia. Sabina Mataji and Nigaj Prabhu are in Slovenia. And Makancha Prabhu is in Iceland. So if you live in any of these countries, please get in touch with the devotees and they will engage you in nice seva for Krishna's sake. Another last point I have here is that we haven't heard from Harley, our faithful listener. Harley, I have been sort of silent recently. I don't know exactly. Maybe I overlooked, but usually he writes a comment or two. So Harley, please let us know if you're still there. We're doing these podcasts for you. Please give us some feedback, write a message, anything. Hope you're doing fine. How is the virus in the States? Are you still have the quarantine there? Here it's getting better. I still have difficulty to get accustomed to the mask. I don't wear it myself. It is so stinky. I don't like this stink of the sterile kind of a cloth. I don't know what it is. I even saw a guy while I was chanting yesterday, 2 days ago or 3 days ago. I saw a guy who had a mask with the Adidas brand printed. So just so everybody knows that he has the special Adidas mask. That is you can only get it in the authorized Adidas store. We should have a Bliss mask. Okay, so we're gonna have another intermission with a song, and then after we're gonna read something from Srila Prabhupada, what he writes about dedicated followers of Krishna consciousness movement, dedicated and committed and determined devotees such as Maitreya Prabhu. Stick around. This one is called You Are Not Your Body. Enjoy. Haribol.
Body is changing, you remain the same. If you think you're the body, you have to die. Everything is changing and brings us only pain. It's time for you to realize that appear like a forest fire here. If you wanna be gods, Mom and Dad and all your friends and all the people, even if they try to hide, feel the soul, it can't be stopped. The body is changing, but you remain the same. Childhood, boyhood, youth, old age. You have always been, and you will always be, aloof from the bodily cage. You are not your body. 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 You are not your body.
Oh, there was some rocking there from the Bliss Band. This is from the upcoming Krishna Conscious musical. Um, Please stick around with the Bliss to hear the whole show. The whole album is going to be some acting also involved, and the songs are being slowly recorded by the Bliss Band. Thank you a lot, Bliss Band. So we continue with our uh, topic of the day, the Bliss devotees and the dedication. Here's a nice letter by Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master. He says, this is from a letter to Hayagriva, Los Angeles, 31st of January 1969. The boys and girls in London are doing very nicely. My Guru Maharaj sent one sannyasi, Swami Bon Maharaj, to preach Krishna consciousness in London sometimes in 1933. Although he tried for 3 years and at the expense of my Guru Maharaj, he could not do any appreciable work. So Guru Maharaj, being disgusted, called him back. In comparison to that situation, our 6 young boys and girls are neither very much advanced in their study of Vedanta nor any other Vedic literature. Neither are they sannyasis, but still they are doing more tangible work than what Bon Maharaj could do there 35 years ago. This very fact confirms the statement of Lord Chaitanya that a preacher or teacher may be a householder, a sannyasi, a brahmana, a shudra, or anyone, provides he knows the signs of Krishna. And to know the signs of Krishna means to serve Krishna under the directions of a bona fide spiritual master. When we serve Krishna in this way, Krishna is pleased to reveal himself. So we should follow strictly the Vedic principle that anyone who has unflinching faith in Krishna and the spiritual master, to him only the signs of Krishna consciousness becomes revealed. Then, when we are fully conversant in revelation of Krishna consciousness, we can meet any opposing elements and come out victorious. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So this is a very nice letter, uh, even for devotees such as Maitreya, who are uh, actually fighting the opposing elements right now. Prabhupada says, when we are fully conversant in revelation of Krishna consciousness. See, usually in the neophyte stage, sometimes devotees they get um, disappointed because they have some material expectation, and when that doesn't um, that is not fulfilled, they feel discouraged in the practice of Krishna consciousness. Um, the Krishna consciousness is our original state of consciousness, and ultimately it doesn't matter whether we are successful or unsuccessful in this material world or even in our preaching endeavors. What counts is the attempt. Krishna takes the essence of the devotee's attitude or his service. Krishna doesn't care how the service is executed exactly. Uh, Externally, it might be unsuccessful, but Krishna is looking at the attitude of the devotee, not necessarily how much he's successful in the material world. This success in the material world is as temporary as everything else. There is no value really. You can be very successful businessman, but then the next life you might be born as a dog. So this has no value. What the real victory or the real success is how much we're thinking of Krishna. And those who are thinking of Krishna, they must have unflinching faith. Those who have unflinching faith, for them, all the imports of the Vedic literatures are revealed. There's a here Srila Prabhupada is paraphrasing a shloka from the Upanishads. Yasya Devi Parabhakti Yata Devi Tata Guru Tasya Kaitita Yata uh, Prakashante Mahatmanaha. For those who are uh, unflinchingly faithful to the Guru and Krishna simultaneously, for them all the imports of Vedic literatures is revealed. So this is a very nice letter from Srila Prabhupada to the original devotees who came to London for the first time to establish a Krishna conscious movement. Yamuna Devi, Guru Das, Shyamasundar Malati, Mukunda, and Janaki. These are the 6 boys and girls and the householder couples who came and they started the whole preaching in London on Srila Prabhupada's order. They also made friends with the Beatles later on, and so on, so on. So it was very successful. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta very much desired that Krishna Conscious Center is established in London as one of the major cities in the world. So by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, it has been possible by the endeavor of these great devotees from the early days because they were following Srila Prabhupada. It's very interesting. Prabhupada says here, to know the science of Krishna means to serve Krishna under the directions of a bona fide spiritual master. So if you're serving Srila Prabhupada sincerely, then you know the science of Krishna. You might not be, some scholar or some very exalted Paramahamsa devotee, but if you follow the directions of Srila Prabhupada sincerely, whatever you can, whatever instruction you have assimilated, then you know the science of Krishna. That is the real test. And if you are disobeying the order or trying to divert others from the order of the spiritual master, then the science becomes lost to you. You will not know exactly how to find Krishna and how can you give him to others. So that's one letter. Here's another one to Rai Ram, San Francisco, 7th of March, 1967. It is very good to take all risks for Krishna, but for our personal satisfaction, we should not take the least risk. I am very glad to learn that Brahmananda, yourself, and all others have the trust and courage to take all risks for Krishna, and this act will enhance your glory in Krishna consciousness. See, this Prabhupada, this is a very nice letter. Prabhupada is using this term, take all risks for Krishna's sake. we should take all risks for Krishna. Risking is not very, you could say, spiritual thing. Uh, you- if people usually, in a stereotypical way, they understand spirituality is something peaceful. There's no risk involved. Risk creates anxiety and pressure and so on and so on. But Prabhupada is saying, no, you should take all risks for Krishna. And this is the way how Krishna becomes revealed to you. If you never take any risk for Krishna, Krishna will never take any risk for you. But if you take a risk for Krishna, you will see, uh, literally, you will see the helping hand of Krishna in your personal life. Uh, then you have a tangible evidence of Krishna's existence that will make you a very staunch and faithful devotee. But if you never take any risks, if you always expect that Krishna should come to me, just like there was this conversation, the devotees were telling Prabhupada their experiences, their experiences while preaching in India. So one devotee said that the Indian people say that uh, only when Krishna wills it, I will surrender to him. Only when Krishna wants, I will surrender to him. So this is a, it might appear as a very, very surrendered soul that he even doesn't surrender if Krishna doesn't want him to surrender. But that's nonsense because Krishna wants everyone to surrender. This is for our benefit. It's not for Krishna's benefit that we surrender. Krishna is okay. Krishna is Purnam. Krishna is complete. He is enjoying in the spiritual worlds. But it is for our benefit that we rejoin him and enjoy transcendently, eternally, and don't remain here in this temporary material existence full of birth, death, old age, disease, coronaviruses, and so on, so on. So we should definitely take risks for Krishna. And we should not take the least risk for our personal satisfaction. See, this is the problem. People take all kinds of risks for their personal satisfaction. They go and they invest so much money and energy into this um, trembling and slowly being uh, tumbling down materialistic civilization. They invest so much energy. But when we ask them, please, why don't you invest in your permanent assets, your spiritual life, your Krishna conscious life, they refuse. They take so much risk taking all kinds of drugs, even without knowing what it is. They pop certain pill in their mouth. We're watching some Vice documentary uh, a few months ago. Not that we watch it every day, but once in a while, we want to know uh, what is going on with the world. So this Vice documentary is kind of nice, and they made a TV series about the ecstasy takers in UK, and apparently there is a lots of ecstasy. Ecstasy is a drug which comes in a pill. And so there are many of these pills that are actually deadly. That a person takes it and he dies immediately. So young people, they pop this in their mouth without any research. Of course, those who are intelligent, they have these measuring things. They go and measure the chemicals. But yeah, many times people just experiment. Just take it and experiment, and it's gonna be all right. But when we, so they willing to experiment such a deadly and dangerous thing. But when we ask them, why don't you chant Hare Krishna? You don't change your uh, life lifestyle or your job or your family situation. Just do whatever you're doing and add Krishna. And they will not be able to do it. They say, no, why should I submit to some dogma? But a deadly ecstasy pill, oh, anytime I'll take, even at the risk of my life. So that's why Prabhupada says we should not take the least risk for personal satisfaction. If it's not required, if you're peaceful, if you can enjoy, why you need these nonsense drugs or other things? Why you need this and extra that? The modern society is based on this newer and newer products for sense gratification. So something that you learn in living in a temple with devotees is that you don't need 99% of these things. You don't need a TV. You don't need to go to cinema. You don't need to go to restaurant. You don't need to discuss mundane topics. All this is flushed away, and your life becomes so much simple and so much freer. Uh, you become more liberated. Mm. So Krishna consciousness, culture, practice can give you this freedom. You simply have to make a risk. You make that initial risk. Now let me chant Hare Krishna. What is the trouble? So try it. If you are new to Krishna consciousness movement, try to practice Hare Krishna chanting. It is very simple. You just chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra as much as possible. Do it while walking, while dancing, while sleeping, while eating, any time, any place, and you will see how your life changes. Let's go to another letter. Regarding your consideration of management, no, we should take all risks for Krishna. This mentality to chant in a solitary place without any responsibility of preaching work is not approved by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. One of our godmothers was doing like that, and my spiritual master was not very satisfied with him. We are not separated actually. There are two, Vani or Vapu. So Vapu is physical presence, and Vani is presence by the vibration, but they're all the same. So Krishna, when he was physically present before Arjuna, is the same when he is present before us by his Vani of Bhagavad Gita. So far I am concerned, I do not factually feel any separation from my spiritual master because I am trying to serve him according to his desire. That should be the motto. If you kindly try to fulfill my mission for which you have been sent there, that will be our constant association. This is a letter to Hansa Duta. So, yeah, this is also very nice. If you are following the order of the spiritual master, you're not separated from him. Actually, that is a higher type of association. Even Srila Prabhupada says, my Guru Maharaj, he was surrounded by so many disciples, but they were simply giving him pain, just like bugs. There's a bed bug who's simply biting. He's very close physically, but he's simply giving pain to the person. So if we fulfill the order of Srila Prabhupada, then we have this constant association. By meditating, you can meditate on Prabhupada's order constantly while executing your service. You meditate how to actually increase this service, how to make it the best of my ability, like that. So in this way, you have the association of the spiritual master constantly, whereas the physical association might be only for a little while. Now, here's another one about Sankirtan devotees. The Sankirtan devotees are very, very dear to Krishna because you're doing the field work of book distribution. Krishna has immediately recognized them as true servants. Just like during wartime, a farm boy or ordinary clerk who goes to fight for his country on the front immediately becomes a national hero for his sincere efforts. So Krishna immediately recognizes a preacher of Krishna consciousness who takes all risks to deliver his message. It is called Dhiravrata, determination. These boys and girls are Mahatmanastu Mamparta Daivim Prakriti Mashrita. Bhajantyananya Manaso Gyatva Bhutadim Abhyayam. O son of Prata, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. This verse is applicable here. If these boys were under material nature, they would not take so much risk. They are Mahatma, they are real Mahatma, not that long beard and saffron cloth Mahatma. They're unswerving in the determination, Dhiravrata. This is a letter to Uttama Shloka from 1975. So much applicable to the bliss devotees, especially our Maitreya Prabhu. So determined. Because he's doing the field work of book distribution, he might not be a great uh, uh, Paramahamsa, although he is a Paramahamsa. Prabhupada says, during a wartime, a farm boy or ordinary cleric who goes to fight for his country on the front immediately becomes a national hero. You see, so this is the glory. Any ordinary devotee, any new devotee, bhakta, any devotee. If he does the right thing at the right time, immediately he becomes so dear to Krishna. This is the secret of how we can advance in Krishna consciousness. It doesn't have to be mechanical that you have to chant for 1 billion lifetimes to get free from sinful habits. If you do the right thing at the right time, immediately Krishna will shower his mercy upon you. This is what is different between the path of the Mayavadis, the impersonalists, and the Vaishnavas, the devotees. That we're dealing with the personality of God, Krishna. Krishna is a person. Lord Chaitanya is a person. Lord Chaitanya is witnessing all these activities that the devotees are doing in bliss. He's witnessing this and he's giving them inspiration and he's giving them protection. Don't think this is some kind of an ordinary, some kind of a craze. This is the mission of Lord Chaitanya. So you yourself, if you dedicate your energy to preach this or help to expand his mission, you will also perceive the difference in your life. You will perceive the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. But you have to do it. Lord Chaitanya will not come and knock on your door. Please, would you like some mercy? Although he does it, Srila Goswami, he prays, Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gurit Vishnamaha. Srila Goswami says that you're the most munificent of all avatars because you're distributing love of Godhead freely. But it's not that Lord Chaitanya will come and do it for you. We all have to take our part in it. So those who are serving practically, not just talking, but practically serving, it doesn't matter in what propensity. If you give a donation or if you go out and dedicate your whole life for preaching Krishna consciousness, it is the step forward towards Krishna. Krishna has made all the steps towards us. He gave the Bhagavad Gita, he sent his pure devotees, he gave us the Maha Mantra, he has exhausted all the possibilities. So now it's up to us to take it seriously. And this brings us to our last quote. This is about the initiation. Sometime past, I saw someone was asking for initiation. Someone was asking if we can get initiated. So we have to know what is initiation. It is not a cheap thing that I do nothing. I simply offer my food to Krishna and eat nicely at home, and I get the blessings of the spiritual master. Here, Srila Prabhupada defines what is the qualification to become initiated by a bona fide spiritual master such as Srila Prabhupada. Diksha or spiritual initiation is explained in the Bhakti Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami. Divyam Jnanam Yato Dadyat Kuryat Papasya Shankasayam Tasma Diksheti Saprokta Deshikais Tattva Kovidai. By Diksha, one gradually becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and gradually becomes interested in spiritual life. We have seen many practical examples of this, especially in Europe and America. Many students who come to us from rich and respectable families quickly lose all interest in material enjoyment and become very eager to enter into spiritual life. Although they come from very wealthy families, many of them accept living conditions that are not very comfortable. Indeed, for Krishna's sake, they are prepared to accept any living condition as long as they can live in the temple and associate with the Vaishnavas. When one becomes so disinterested in material enjoyment, he becomes fit for initiation by the spiritual master. For the advancement of spiritual life, Srimad Bhagavatam prescribes tapasa brahmacharena samena cha damena cha. When a person is serious about accepting diksha, he must be prepared to practice austerity, celibacy, and control of the mind and body. If one is so prepared and is desirous of receiving spiritual enlightenment, divyam jnanam, he is fit for being initiated. Divyam Jnanam is technically called Tadvijnana, or knowledge about the Supreme. Tadvijnanatam Sagarum Eva Vikachet. When one is interested in the transcendental subject matter of the Absolute Truth, he should be initiated. Such a person should approach his spiritual master in order to take Diksha. Srimad Bhagavatam also prescribes, Tasmat Gurum Prapadyeta Jigyasushraya Uttamam. When one is actually interested in the transcendental science of the Absolute Truth, he should approach upon a spiritual master. One should not accept a spiritual master without following his instructions. Nor should one accept a spiritual master just to make a fashionable show of spiritual life. One must be jigyasu, very much inquisitive to learn from the bona fide spiritual master. The inquiries one makes should strictly pertain to transcendental science, jigyasu shaya uttamam. The word uttamam refers to that which is above material knowledge. Tama means the darkness of this material world, and ut means transcendental. Generally, people are very interested in inquiring about mundane subject matters, but when one has lost such interest and is simply interested in transcendental subject matters, he is quite fit for being initiated. When one is actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master, and when he seriously engages in the service of the Lord, he should be accepted as a Madhya Madhikari. This is a purport to verse 5 from Nectar of Instruction, commented by Srila Prabhupada. So there's a couple of points I would like to highlight. Srila Prabhupada says that many of his Western disciples, they come from a rich and respectable families, but they're willing to accept any living condition that might not be so comfortable for them. You know, if you were born in a rich family and you live in comfort and everything is provided for you, it is not so easy to renounce these things. But still, if you are willing to renounce all of this simply to associate with devotees, uh, then you are qualified to accept initiation. Prabhupada says he becomes fit for initiation. And if we have some reservations that, oh, I do not like, can you change this, can you change that, oh, I this and that, if you want to make a business with a spiritual master, you are not fit for initiation. There is no need to accept a spiritual master with such mentality. Don't cheat yourself, don't cheat others. This is a serious thing, and one must be ready to sacrifice for the sake of spiritual master. It is not a mechanical thing that I simply learn some formulas and that I repeat them and so on, and automatically I'll become a very exalted devotee. No, you must practice austerity, celibacy, control of the mind and body. This is required. And you must be ready to do anything that the spiritual master asks you for. So sometimes when devotees come to the association, they have some reservations. They're not willing to serve. So, what is the use of joining the devotee association if we're not ready to execute the order of the spiritual master? There is no need. So, those who are not yet on the platform, if they still have doubts, this is okay. One can have doubts. It is not that blindly we should accept the spiritual master. If you have some doubts, please kindly ask questions. We're going to clarify whether the spiritual master is bona fide or not, whether Krishna is real or not. We can clarify, you can challenge, we can convince you. We're 100% sure. But if you are not 100% sure, then you can ask a question, you can clarify. That's okay. But unless you clarify, don't try to get initiation. Don't try to make a show of having a spiritual master. Don't make a show of joining some institution or a club or association for name and fame. It's useless. You cannot cheat Krishna. Krishna can see from within the heart how much you dedicated. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says, don't try to see Krishna, but try to render such service that Krishna will see you. So that's about it. I somehow managed to do this podcast on my own. By your blessings, thank you for listening. Although Maitreya is not here, so the quality, I'm sure, dropped at least 99%. But he is, of course, with us. Maitreya is with us because he's trying to serve Krishna very nicely. As I said before, drop him a message. If you want to encourage him, he will appreciate it. If you have any more questions, uh, please on this in terms of this podcast, or any suggestions for future topics, or questions that were raised in your mind while reading Prabhupada's books or hearing his classes, don't hesitate to send me a message. We'll discuss it. Check out our website, expandabliss.com. Subscribe to this channel, Expand the Bliss. Subscribe, get notifications for new podcasts. Check out our Facebook. If you're on Facebook, it's Expand the Bliss page. Put a like, uh, write as a comment, and if you want to give donation, also we have the GoFundMe platform and Patreon. It's all linked up on in the description. Please check it out. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you next week on Monday. Hare Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada. Maitreya Prabhu ki jai.